Hi everyone, it's Paola. Welcome back to my channel, my art and graphic design channel, but we're doing something a little bit different, a little bit fun today. So in the spirit of graphic design and also fun on YouTube, I thought I would do something fun and silly and stupid, but I thought I would rank album covers, Taylor Swift album covers specifically. As you can see, I'm wearing the merch. I just went to the concert on Monday and I'm still riding that high. It's Thursday when I'm filming this, and I'm still wearing some bracelets. I'm just having a great time because it was the best concert, and I figured let's just rank Taylor Swift album covers as a graphic designer from my designer perspective. A little bit of personal opinion, but let's look at it from a design perspective, and as designers, how can we critique? So I thought this would be fun, and maybe we can do this for other things in the future. I just figured let's do this one because it's just like fun, and I know a lot of you guys like Taylor too. So yeah, I'm just gonna be in my little merch, and it's 100 degrees when I'm wearing a sweatshirt. But yeah, let's just do it. So let me show you the categories. The first category we have here is put it in the Louvre, okay? This belongs in an art museum because it's iconic and it's beautiful. Our next one down is Photoshop Queen. Now this sounds a little shady, but it's more like, okay, girl, you did that. Like in my head, I'm like, Taylor made these album covers herself, but we know that's not true. We know she has designers, but I think it's funny. And yeah, Photoshop Queen, like it's not sarcastic. It's cute. The third tier down, I forgot that you existed. Okay. So that's a play on one of her songs that I also forgot existed because I never listened to that song. Don't hate me. But yeah, this is going to be like, okay, whatever. It's kind of a random cover. Like it doesn't stand out in my mind. And then the last category is Comic Sans. If it's Comic Sans level, like it's a no from me personally. You might like Comic Sans, so don't hate me if I rank the album in this category. I have everything laid out here. I have the Taylor's versions covers as well as the original covers, and I have the new album that's coming out, TTPD. I'm gonna keep forgetting the name of the album, Tortured Poets Department. Okay, so let's get to ranking them. If you are new to my channel, please subscribe. I do lots of design content, but also sometimes they involve Taylor Swift if you're into that, and sometimes I vlog, and I live in Australia, so yeah, just subscribe. Let's hang out together. Okay, this is so fun. I've never done this. I always see YouTubers doing this, and now I feel like the YouTuber who's doing it. We're gonna go in order, so let's start with the first album. And you would think maybe debut I'm gonna place somewhere bad just because it's like debut and it's kind of, you would maybe think cheesy, but I don't think it's cheesy at all. I think for what it is, it's a country album with a pretty unique cover, and it has a butterfly, and it's just cute. And I have to say that I actually really like that she had her own signature like style typeface for the word Taylor Swift, like for her name. Every time it's actually in the first 3 albums, it's all written the same. I actually do appreciate that because it's kind of like a signature sign off that it is hers, but I don't think it's necessary for all the album covers, like the first 3 album covers. I like that it exists, and maybe it would be cool on the back cover, but for a front cover, it's just a little bit overdone after, especially the second and third ones, which we'll get to. But for the first one, I'm gonna go with Photoshop Queen. They added a little butterfly, like it's kind of sweet. Does it hold up today? I'm not really sure because it definitely looks like an album from a long time ago. I think if, you know, a new country singer like her was coming up now, they would have a completely different album cover, but I think for at the time, totally works. Okay, Fearless, the original cover of Fearless, again with the Taylor Swift type. Again, I like it. I like that she did that, but for the cover, I don't know. It works. It definitely works, and it's definitely impactful, but I kind of like, I forget about it. But I will say her first few albums are the ones that have the most typography and things to address in terms of critiquing. So I actually do support it because it says like Fearless very bold, and then has the juxtaposition, we're using these like, you know, critiquey college words of the Taylor Swift curvy font. So I like it, but yeah, I kind of moved on. Like I don't really remember it even being that, and I had that album, like I had the CD, and I don't even remember it. So I'm gonna leave it there, but yeah, it's like in between those 2 categories. I just didn't want to make a million categories. Okay, Speak Now, the original version. I actually I always liked this one because of the like flowing, painted looking dress. I love that it included kind of mixed media on the cover. So from a design perspective, I still really love that. Now that I'm a designer, I mean, when this album came out, I was not a designer. I was young, but I really do love the painterly type of vibe. And I love the purple. I didn't really like the red colored album of Speak Now, just because I didn't ever felt like it went with the theme of the album. Purple was always its color. So yeah, if we're touching on like the color themes of her eras and everything, as a designer, I think purple was definitely the right choice here, but the red one I just never liked, even back in the day. But I do like the cursive writing on here, but I think in the Taylor's version they did it a little bit better. It's not on the front cover, but we'll talk about that. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Photoshop Queen again because of the mixed media, the painty vibe, and she looked really, really good on the cover. I just think she looks so beautiful, and it's like the imagery mixed with the type really worked for an album cover. Okay, Red, the original Red. This is where she loses me, okay? And this is where she lost me back in the day when I didn't really care for this album at the time. I was like in high school and I just kind of was over it. Like I was kind of over Taylor. I was listening to like more grungy type of music, which is so funny now if you look at me. I mean, literally look at me now. 27 years old and she got me back. But anyway, this is where she lost me back in the day. I did not like this cover. It was not my style in high school. Like it just wasn't me, and it's still not my style now. The bold type, I can appreciate. The bold type is great, but the cover for me just doesn't stand out as an album. I just feel like it really needed to pack a punch, and I feel like the bold type is not doing enough to pack that punch, especially paired with the imagery. I mean, her red lip is iconic, but I just never liked this album cover. I'm sorry, I have to put it in the lowest tier, even though I still do really like the type. A sans serif font, if used incorrectly, is not going to save your design. You know what I mean? Like, trying to be modern, trying to be more clean. There's just something that doesn't work with this one. I think maybe it's like the left align. I don't know. I'm leaving it there. And will I regret it? I don't know. Okay, 1989. Here we go. The original 1989 is so good. It's such a good cover. The Polaroid, the written, like handwritten Sharpie. See, that's where it's like a type choice really being impactful. I think with Red, it just really felt stuck on, and it didn't even like take up too much of the album cover, or like, I don't know, it took up a weird amount, I think is what it is. Like it's that bottom third of the album cover. But with this one, this type choice is just so perfect for the concept of the album and for what it is, and the Polaroid look, and it's not just tacked on. You know what I mean? It feels very intentional. So this one is going to put it in the Louvre because it should be in the Louvre. It's iconic and it's beautiful. And like, I didn't even notice the seagulls on her shirt for the longest time. I love this album cover, and I didn't even listen to it as a thing when it came out. Again, I was in college when this one came out. It wasn't my thing at the time, but I did listen to like a few of it. Like I heard it all over the radio all the time, but I just didn't like seek out Taylor at the time. And I still really, really appreciate this album cover. So I'm not trying to let nostalgia cloud my judgment too much. Okay, so Reputation, right after 1989. This, I think, is her best cover. I really think it's her strongest cover ever. It has the newspaper print vibe. It has a lot going on the cover, but still feels cohesive and not overwhelmed. And I love the text of Reputation. I think the whole aesthetic really fit into a theme. It really just went perfectly. And the black and white image of her with just completely different hair and just a whole different look, it's all working together perfectly. I think the idea to have the text going over half her face is also really cool. I just think that it feels the most intentional of all her covers, and it just has like the most detail and the most, at least to look at in terms of designer perspective. It has the most to see, it has the most going on, and it still really, really works. There's just so many things that I've seen from designers that can get really busy, and while I appreciate all different types of design, Taylor has never been that. Taylor albums just have never been that crazy, as we can see so far. They I mean, the most crazy look is basically because her hair is so curly on the cover. It's not from the design choices. So this one just really knocked it out of the park with design choices, type choices, using Taylor Swift as like a headline on the end, and just interacting beautifully, I think, with the imagery and the type. Okay, Lover. I'm gonna put Lover in Photoshop Queen because it is cute. I feel like as I say that, it sounds sarcastic because she's like definitely just photoshopped in front of more of like a cloud that they made pink, and they just made very fluorescent looking on purpose. It's just fun, and I accept it for what it is, which is a little bit of cheesy photoshopping, but also cute. Actually, I'm gonna move it down. You know what? In my defense of it, I realized that I'm wrong. The Photoshop's not great. And yeah, I'm gonna leave it there. I think it's I think it like really stands out in the middle of her albums, like being so pink, but at the same time it's just like, okay. Yeah, the glitter letter is funny. Guys, I talked myself out of it. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments of this one, because it does feel a little bit like... Here it is. Okay, now we're getting into albums that don't really have any type, anything to really discuss. I mean, design choice in imagery is still a really big thing, but these album covers are relying on images, just an image to get the point across. And it's a little bit harder to rank as a designer, but I'm going to do my best. Folklore, put it in the Louvre. We love black and white. Reputation hits, Folklore hits. I love the black and white. I love that she's so far away. It's so random. Anyway, we're just gonna keep it moving. The braid in Evermore. I'm sorry, put it in the Louvre. The braid, the plaid. It says all it needs to say. I'm sorry, I have to do it. They look great. Okay, Fearless Taylor's version. Fearless Taylor's version is, I'm gonna put it down here again as well. I like it a lot more than the first Fearless, but I'm gonna leave it in the same category just because, again, it doesn't have type, so it's like a little bit hard to address, but I don't really like the filter on it. Yellowy light. I don't love it. I'm gonna leave it there, but I guess I can put it here. It's in front. Okay, and here we are at Red Taylor's version. I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to put it in the lowest. It's not exciting to me at all, and it's just the hat and everything. And okay, again, no text. I wish it had text on it, but it's like,
why did she just start dropping text from her album covers when it wasn't consistently? Like Folklore and Evermore are just her albums, obviously. Lover was the first one she owned. Folklore and Evermore were then new albums, but then Fearless and Red were re-records, but then they didn't have titles on them. But then 1989 does. So it gets confusing to me.
okay, Midnights is... I don't really love the cover of Midnights. I think I'm gonna put it in Photoshop Queen. I don't really know if I like having all of the track titles on the cover. I know it was giving vinyl. It's giving that vinyl feel, but there's just an odd amount of space. There's a different amount of space on the top to the side, and I think that's a bit odd. And just, again, having the track titles, it's like a little bit disjointed when I look at the cover. I just kind of want it to be Midnights. I love the text of Midnights. I think it looks great. I love the kind of ombre effect on it. There's a lot of design choices that I like on here, but there's a lot of design choices that I don't like. And I think Reputation did that a lot better, especially for having like a busier album cover with more to assess. Reputation did it way better. Midnights is doing it a little bit off. Like, I just wish it was Midnights with that ombre and the picture. Okay, Speak Now Taylor's version. So she went back to no text on, so it's very inconsistent, kind of confusing. I do love the back cover of the Speak Now Taylor's version. I think that the elevated script type, that's what I'm saying. The script type definitely is elevated from last time, from the first Speak Now cover. But yeah, again, I think it looks really pretty. I'm going with Photoshop Queen. It's a really, really pretty cover, and the purple is great, and her hair looks great, and she looks great, and I just love it. And I like the black background as well. That to me is such a strong album cover that could look good on a CD, could look good on a vinyl, in all different types of sizes. I just think it looks amazing. But yeah, no text, which I think is an okay choice here. Okay, the new 1989 Taylor's version. So then she went back to text on the cover. So I don't know what this girl wants. Like, honestly, I am a bit sad about it. I think it lost a lot of the charm that it had from the Polaroid cover. And again, I know it can't be the same. And she's so much happier now, and we see the happiness. And I love that she incorporated the seagulls. But the type, it loses it for me. It's not as Polaroid-y, and I don't like that they did just a tiny border that was kind of giving the effect of Polaroid, but it's not. It's really not giving the effect of Polaroid. So I don't know why they chose to do the tiny border. And then the text, I don't think it hits. It's like, it gives me like permanent marker typeface. You know what I mean? Like the permanent marker font that you can get. That's what it gives me. I just don't love it. And it just took away from something from the handwritten. I wish it had maybe been her handwriting again. It's like, I love it and I love her, and I don't really hate any of these album covers. I'm just like being critical right now, but I'm gonna have to put it in the bottom tier. Whew, okay, we really made it through. This is the last one, the album that has not come out yet. We don't know what it sounds like yet, so I feel like a lot of my opinions probably were also influenced by how this sounds compared to how it looks, the cohesiveness of that as well, even though I didn't really touch on it as much, because I'm not trying to say, oh, I don't like some songs on this album, so I'm ranking it low. Like, I was not trying to do that. But we don't know what this one sounds like. We have a visual. Again, we have a border. And I just don't know how I feel about it. I don't know how I feel about these borders. And okay, it's black and white, but it's not giving as hard-hitting of a black and white as Reputation and Folklore. I feel like it's just a bit soft, which is not a bad thing. It's just a lot softer than a harsher black and white. It's going for like tonal, and just such a big border that it's taking away from the impactfulness. I'm like, I know I keep saying that word, but I'm just not feeling like drawn into it because of the giant border, the same way I feel about with Midnights. I want to love it, and I really like her images that she's come out with as the different variations, but if we're counting this as the official cover, it's just a little bit quiet. I do think it looks really pretty on a CD and a vinyl, so it does have that going for it a bit more than some of the other albums, but it feels like it's whispering to me. And I do like the type, it's just not, it's not jumping out. So I'm gonna put it in I Forgot That You Existed. Please don't hate me for how I rank these, but I think just from a graphic designer perspective, if I was just sitting in a critique, these are the types of thoughts I would have, and I think I did an okay job. I feel happy with this ranking, and I had to go with my heart, and I had to go with my expertise. I'm sorry. And of course, graphic design, art, it's all subjective, so you can totally disagree, and I wouldn't even say like you're a bad designer if you disagree, or you can't really say I'm a bad designer if I disagree, because we all just have our feelings and our styles and our aesthetics, and it's just how it is. But I hope you enjoyed this fun little tier ranking, and we can definitely do this for other things, not just album covers. Like, we could do this for different art things, so let me know if you want me to do more of these. This was really cool, I think. And yeah, I think it just works with my channel. Obviously, like design, let's just do more critiquing and stuff. We could do stuff like this all the time. So it really helps my channel when you like and comment and all of that. So actually in the comments, let me know what your favorite album cover is as a designer or as an artist or even just as a Taylor fan. So I will see you in the next video. Okay guys, bye.